This segment will focus on using Facebook for family history. Facebook is a fun way to keep up with your family events and friends, but do you know that Facebook can be a great resource for family history research? If you go to the main page of FamilySearch and click on the menu item Search, and the drop-down menu will go to Research Wiki. Click on Research Wiki, and this map of the world comes up with a search bar of what you can put in what you're looking for. Key in the word Facebook, and Facebook genealogical research groups will come up. You will find there are groups for countries all over the world. And these blue hyperlinks can be clicked on that will go right to Facebook. Here are some of the popular Facebook family community sites that I have either used or others have used in the European area. The Northern Europe Genealogical Research Community, the Central Europe Genealogical Research Community, the Danish American Genealogy, Random Acts of Genealogical Kindness, abbreviated as RAOGK USA, the British Isles Genealogical Research Committee, and the Swedish American Genealogical Group. I would like to talk about first the Northern Europe Genealogical Research Community, which covers these countries: Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Sami, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. I had a question. I had a hard time reading this birth record, christening record of one of my ancestors. And so I took a picture of it and sent it in to the Northern Europe Genealogical Research Committee. And would you believe, it didn't take me very long, and up came an answer from Klaus Glittiger. And he had gone through a whole bunch of records, had spent a lot of time researching to make sure that the information he was giving me was correct. I was able to extend my line back on one particular line back 2 more generations, and then because of that, I was able to do some research, some descendancy research, and find a whole bunch more family names that needed ordnance work. Another time I wrote in to the same group and looked for information on a marriage record, and another individual helped me find that. She went through the Archivalier and found some records for me to help answer. So you can upload parish records and that you cannot read, that are not in your native language, that you would have trouble translating them, and ask people to translate them for you. And people are very kind to do that. Not only looking for the dead, but I have had the privilege of working with several, maybe I would call them mystery boxes. They're groups of photos and albums that have shown up at the FamilySearch Library in Logan, and no one knows who they belong to. And I've had the joy of finding an owner for them. This was one particular one that was very dear to me. It consisted of 4 huge albums of photos, beautiful photos like this. These were found in an attic in Wyoming in a home, and they were going to go to the dump. Luckily, somebody rescued them and brought them into our library, and I was able to solve the mystery. I didn't know who they belonged to, but going through and piecing together letters and spending countless hours, I was able to determine that they belonged to a Shirley Lavona Phelps. And so I wrote into Facebook to Random Acts of Genealogical Kindness in that website. And I wrote that I was attempting to find any living relatives of Shirley Lavona Phelps Cleese, and all I knew was that she was born in Casper, Wyoming, and had passed away in Douglas, Wyoming in 2007, and that she lived for a time in Seattle. But I had no information as to who her living relatives or family members would be. Would you believe within 15 minutes of uploading this to the Facebook group Random Acts of Genealogical Kindness, a very kind person sent me her obituary, and it told me that she was survived by her children, and it listed their names and who they were. Now, this was a long story, and there's many more details that would take a long time to explain, but I was able to get this to her daughter, Deanna. This is another one I received. These were found again in an attic. You never know what might be up in an attic. I posted these on Facebook. I didn't know who they would belong to. It was a home here in Logan. And I received a lot of likes and comments such as beautiful photo, lovely velvet dress, but no help until 6 months later, somebody had posted this. And it was an obituary of the stepdaughter of the person who these photos belong to. And it says that this particular stepdaughter, that she moved to the Seattle area to be close to her son Harold, and that I worked on and found Dr. Harold Branford and sent him the pictures. Well, I'm not a Facebook stalker. I guess you would call me an unpaid private research investigator. You can search Facebook for living people, perhaps with the same surname or maiden name that you may have. Perhaps, if you feel comfortable, you could send them a friend request and correspond. You could consider forming a Facebook family group. And you can set privacy controls that only the group can see the posts that are put in there. When you create a Facebook group for your family, members can then communicate with each other, share their photos, announce and celebrate family events, and keep each other up to date on happenings, and feel closer together, especially if your family is like mine when they are spread out all over the country. Try Facebook. Look for a Facebook community group for an area where one of your ancestors is from and ask to join your group. They will generally just ask you what your purpose is, and if you say for family history, they will accept you. And discover the many possibilities you can use Facebook in order to do family history.